Hey everybody, we are live with the John Cooper
At
Works
Creighton
Racing.
University, 99% of graduates are employed,
second.
pursuing advanced degrees, or participating in service within 6 months. Whatever you do
Where the
best,
heck is that?
Creighton will help you do it justice. Find your
Okay, sorry about that. I had a Creighton University ad going on my other browser for some strange reason. We're never going to work the bugs out on this. But anyway, we are live with the John Cooper Works Racing Team again after the Virginia International Raceway event, and Cristian managed to get podium 3 on his birthday, no less, and Father's Day. So that must have been an exciting thing to have. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was definitely like what I said in my Instagram post. It was definitely the most emotional podium so far. Just it was my birthday and it was Father's Day, but I feel like this season we've just with like the BOP and just the two DNFs we've had has just been a struggle and just I think it was a big weight lifted off my shoulders, and I think that was just the most relieving part about it was that I think there was a little bit of self doubt there of like, oh, were those three podiums flukes because people dropped out of the races and all that other stuff, but I definitely feel like this podium was the most deserved of just I stayed with that lead group, which is usually a lot faster. Just their cars are a lot faster than ours is right now. And it was just, I think we managed the race pretty well with the yellows and the restarts and the red flag. And I don't think we ever got discouraged. I think there were some points there during the race that I thought we might have not had it, but we just kept going. And I was pretty surprised that we were able to stay there with that lead group, and we had a chance to win the race, but I think if some other things played in, we could have really secured that deal. But I'm extremely happy with the third place.
Glad to hear it. I was kind of curious what spawned the change in the uniform. You went to a green uniform.
Well, just released today. Mini has a game called the Miniverse. It's a video game in Horizon Worlds with Meta. So we made this deal with Meta 2 months ago, I think ish, and they decided they wanted a green suit. I was all for the idea. I think it's unique. Kind of goes with the brand of Mini being unique and kind of out of the box. And I think it brought good luck. So hopefully I can wear the suit the rest of the year. So definitely did turn some heads. So that was in a good way.
Well, green suit, bright green suit, and a bright yellow car. But yeah, it would do that. So, Clea, how did you do in the race?
For me, it was a very, I think, a up and down weekend. You could put it. We definitely had a very fast car. It was my first time there, so it took a little bit to get up to speed. It's probably my favorite track though now. It's very fun. Um, but yeah, we were right there the whole weekend. We qualified. What did we qualify? Third. We were there in the race. I led a few laps in the first race, and then we ran into an issue with our booth. So I had to cycle the car, lost some few spots, but I was able to make it back up to third. So we got on the podium, which is really good for points. That's one of the crucial parts now for me in the season is to maximize our points. I think I'm sitting second in the points though, which is we got 2 DNFs I think in the season now, so I think it's still a really good spot. The second race I got in the lead pretty early, so we were there again. I had a decent gap. Then we went red and had a couple cautions, and we ran into our issue again. And that time I had to DNF. So we were there all weekend. I know we got a fast car, and we're gonna get it fixed for walk-ins, and there should be no reason why we won't be competitive there. That's definitely our track for sure. So very up and down.
So you did get the clutch issue worked out with that car, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is. They put a newer, bigger, beefier clutch in, and it was perfect. So no clutch issues.
So at least we know we can have. At least we know you can get a 300 plus horsepower Mini with manual transmission done.
Yes, it is possible.
Yeah. Lewis, how do you think everything went over the weekend?
Yeah, it went. I think kind of as planned a little bit, and some surprises also. Uh, we know exactly where the cars are at. You know, Clay's TC car is is a front runner. You know, it should be racing the rest of the season right up front in the top three spots. Bohm is quite fast, and you know, but Clay can beat him. So unfortunately for in race two for Clay, like you said, we were having some kind of issues, and we believe he DNF'd the second race with some power issues. You know, we kind of quickly diagnosed it, and we believe that the engine let go, maybe a piston or something, and which is kind of surprising because this will be our 8th year racing the F56, and this will be the very first engine that we've lost. You know, I think another reason, we have been developing the TC car, and this engine has almost a season now. It did the last, I don't know, it did most of the second half of last year, and this past weekend was halfway, or you know, just almost halfway this season. So it's done a season, but in the process of developing the car, especially the management system with the power, I think early on, well, I know early on last year, we've, you know, for whatever reason, the driver felt like the car didn't have enough power. So we would go back every race weekend and do a million dyno pulls. And man, I mean, we were getting some crazy horsepower numbers out of the car. And I think the highest horsepower I remember seeing was 358 horses at the wheel out of it, you know. So I think we damaged the engine early on, you know. Once Clay got in the car, you know, we started the season right away after race one. We went back to the ECU that made a lot less horsepower, which is what he's racing now. But I think the damage was done early on, and now obviously we've watched the last two races. You know, I mean all season. You know, this season Clay's been running for a win basically, and yeah, I think the engine just had enough of it, you know, especially from what we did early on in the season. So the cars are still loaded. They're in the transporter. It's back at the shop. I'm actually in Miami, visiting my parents. I flew straight from VIR Sunday night here, and tomorrow my dad and I are going to get in his 1950 Ford, and we're going to drive up to Indy from Miami. So we have a 1,200 mile little adventure going starting tomorrow. So that'll be fun. You know, a normal drive in a car that does 70, 80 miles per hour is 14 hours. I expect us to, well, you know, I basically took this week off to do this. So spending a couple of days here with the family, and tomorrow morning we'll head out to Indy. So, you know, the cars are still in the truck. Christian's back at the shop. They're just cleaning up some projects, and then we'll unload. But on Christian's, so that was, you know, unfortunate for Clay. Strong car. You know, he did have that issue in race one, but I think the issue in race one has a lot to do with the engine that ended up giving up in race two. So we were just trying to figure out what was going on, and it was really a mechanical deal. So
I mean, how old is that engine overall?
Well, it was new when we built the second TC car. So it did help me out. Well, basically, we built a new car right after VIR last year, so basically it's a season old now, right? So it did the second half of last season, and it's made it to halfway through this season. So we'll put a new engine in it, brand new engine, straight out of the box from the dealership, and I expect that to be it. That'll probably be our only engine failure in 8 years, But
Well, I
again,
mean,
I
yeah,
think we damaged it. We damaged it early on,
Yeah.
yeah,
It had a
BMW,
total of.
yeah, the
Go
mini.
ahead.
I'm sorry, the mini engines are known to be pretty robust, so you'd have to do a lot. You'd have to do a lot to really destroy one of those engines.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I know Clay wants to say something, but the engines, the Cooper S is rated at 188, right? And we verified that that's the power from the stock power. And like I said, I remember seeing through the winter when we were trying to get ready for this season, the car was, we had a dyno pull at 358 horses at the wheels. So that's what, 400 horsepower at the crank. So it's twice the power that it's rated for. So, we lowered it down to where it's supposed to be, somewhere around the 300 mark, which is where the GP3 is. It shouldn't be a problem at all. But Clay was going to say something there.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna mention that. So I think it had a total of 7 races on that engine, and just to your
7
point of
weekends,
how,
right? 7 weekends.
yeah, 7 weekends,
Yeah.
yeah. And to your point about strong they are, I think you mentioned, Lewis, that the motor that's in Christian's car is still this original one from the IMSA days, so it's been going strong. Power still the same and everything. So
Yeah, I mean, like Clay said, I mean, the Christian's running the 2018 championship engine in it, right? So that's a season. That's a season of IMSA, 10 races, endurance racing, 2-hour races with 2 4-hour races, and I mean, Christian, is driving that car, and I want to say he had a great weekend. Christian really did. We know where the BOP is right now in the TCA class. Unfortunately, there's 3 new models that entered this year's competition: the new Civic, the new Subaru, and the new Hyundai Elantra. Well, the Hyundai Elantra is unfortunately the worst of the field right now, and they haven't been able to develop the car to go faster. They will. They'll get it going, but they're going to struggle, right? It doesn't have really good race bits in it. They didn't do any development on it. They just built it and went racing, and it's just not up to speed. But they'll get it figured out. I mean, obviously, Brian Herta runs that program, and they have the budget, and I'm sure they hate where they're at the moment. So I expect them to be contenders, if they're not this year, for sure next year. But then the Subaru and the new Honda Civic are just an average 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field, and that somehow the BOP is missing there. The series has been putting restrictors and more weight, and the cars don't seem to be slowing down at all. So and some people say it's the drivers, but if you look at those drivers where they ran last year in their older cars, okay, well, then the older car, they're going to say, well, the older car wasn't very good. Well, the older cars, well, the Subaru's not running, the older Subaru's not running anymore, so we can't compare that. But like the new Civic and the old Civic are both running this year. And the old Civic is literally running door to door next to Christian, right? So the old cars, the Mini and the old Civic are pretty equal. And they finished last year very equal. So the guy that's won all the races or most of the races in the new Civic was running third, fourth, fifth, sixth, won a couple of races that, I think he ran both races at Road America, but I can bet my head that if you look at the speed traps last year at Road America, I bet the Civic was the fastest car down the straightaway. So at Road America, you don't need handling. You just need to be the fastest car down the straightaway, and you're going to win the race.
Mhm.
So when you have a 4-mile racetrack, that's 4 miles of straightaway, and you're driving at 2 miles per hour faster than anybody else. Well, guess what? You'll never catch them, right?
Yeah.
So we knew going into the race, and I tell Cristian all the time, like, Cristian has the talent. He's new, and I think the more laps he does, he just learns how to deal with traffic. And Cristian also is not as aggressive like yet. Like when he's going for a pass, sometimes you kind of start closing a little bit the door, and Cristian still leaves a lot of room for his competitors, which is nice, right? You don't want to have beef with your competitors either. So he's doing a great job, but the experience comes as completing passes and closing the deal, right?
Mhm.
But Cristian has the speed. He's been fast everywhere, and we knew going into this weekend that the best he was going to be was the best of the old cars. And there's 3 Subarus and a Honda Civic that are new, so the best we could hope for would be a 5th, in both races. Well, we as a team, we made a mistake in race 1, and he had a fuel issue that made him come into pit lane during the reconnaissance laps before the start. We fixed the problem right away, but unfortunately we screwed him, and he lost his starting position, which was 4th, I think. Cristian, where did you start? 5th, right? 5th, which is exactly where we expected to be, right? He was going to be 5th because there's 4 faster new cars that nobody can touch. And so Cristian started last and finished 4th. So he drove through the field and had a great race. And we didn't expect to be any better than 5th, and he finished 4th. And okay, well, he finished right where we expected him to, but he had a hell of a drive there to try to go from last to where we expected him to finish. And then by doing that, through traffic, he had the 2nd fastest race lap, so he started on the front row on race 1. We knew that again, that the best he could do probably would be a 4th or 5th, even starting in the front row. And at the start, all the new cars, by the time they got to turn 1, Cristian was 4th or 5th, I don't remember, right? They got by him. And then the way it worked out, a couple of the new cars crashed, and then Cristian, fought. I mean, he had 3rd place by then because they only had 2 new cars in front of him. And there was a bunch of yellows that he had a few restarts and some maybe opportunities to be there in case the 2 new cars that were fighting for the win tangled or went off, but they never did. They did a good job, and Cristian finished 3rd, which was amazing because we didn't expect to be more than maybe 5th or 4th or 5th, right? So for Cristian, probably a perfect weekend. That 3rd place podium feels like a win for the team and for us. Because the way the BOP is right now, we don't expect podiums in TCA. We're a 4th, 5th place car at the moment. So I expect that the series will do something that, and I know that I think that the guys that have new cars are also expecting to be turned down or penalized or whatever you want to call it, BOP, right? They know, and they've had the fortune to be able to dominate the first half of the season. So hopefully things equal out a little bit, and Cristian can show his talent and go race for podiums, next race. And we'll put a new engine in Clay's car, and we know where it's at, and we know what the problems are, and the clutch issue is solved. And I expect Clay to also be racing for wins. Clay, did you say you're 2nd in the championship?
Yeah, I know I was based off of Saturday's finish. I was tied for 2nd. I don't know where I'm at now with the DNF.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so you're still good in the championship. So that's where we're fortunate there, right? Like I guess just being able to finish on the podium on the races that you have finished is keeping you up in the chase. So
Right.
we got a second. We're hitting halfway point
Mhm.
next race. So that's still quite a bit of races. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming that Boehm is gone. Like, I mean, I would expect that you would probably have to win the next 6 races to even catch him in the championship. I don't know, right? He doesn't have any DNF, so
Yeah, I'd have to check off a lot of wins to catch him.
yeah. So probably the TC first place is locked out, maybe, or getting close to being unreachable. But and the same in TCA, right? I mean, the guys that are won, it's between the Hondas and the Civic and the Subaru. They've won all the races, so Christian's got 2 DNFs and a couple of fourths and fifths and a third, right? So Christian, even if he wins the next 6 races, or whatever, eight races, right? Halfway, yeah, four race weekends, 2 races a week. So the next 8 races, he needs to win all 8 races and those guys to fall out, right? So first place championships are probably not reasonable anymore, unfortunately. It's just the way it goes.
There's always
It's
a chance. It sounds like this kind of racing is almost like a game, like playing a game of chess.
Well, it is, and for sure when new cars come in, right? So this season, I expect next season there won't be new cars. So it's going to take this whole season to balance all the cars out. The new cars will be lucky to win a championship in their first year, which is really not good, because we go racing to win, and unfortunately we're dealing with a car. The cars that are winning are just they're going to get a free championship, right? Without any development. They're basically been brand new cars put on the racetrack, and they're dominating by a second or two. And what's interesting too, because we made a mistake in practice too, in Christian's to Christian put the wrong map. I asked him to put a map in the car, and he picked the right map on the laptop, but he didn't check the map when he opened it. And I was there, and I didn't look at it either, because anyway, so he puts a map in there, and he goes out and practice 2, and all of a sudden he's 1 second faster than the new cars, and right away we knew right away something was wrong. We contacted the series and said, hey, we made a mistake. We will correct it, but FYI, Christian's time is not accurate, right? And but the competition, when that happened, they didn't know that. They just saw Christian all of a sudden it was 1 second faster. And the funny thing is, the competition matched his time. So not only that they were already in practice 2 a second or 2 faster, but when Christian went 3 seconds faster, they went up another second. So they have plenty in their pocket, to do whatever they want. So it's going to be another few races before they run out of that, what they have in their pocket, because I'm sure the series will continue to add weight or do whatever to slow them down, and then they'll just, I call it sand, right? They carry a bunch of sand in the trunk.
Yeah.
The series will add weight, and they just dump a little sand out, and then they keep going fast, right? So at some point they run out of sand, and then it'll equalize. But unfortunately, it'll take all season for that to happen. So, the only losers will be us, because Christian won't be able to win a championship, or we won't be able to win a manufacturer's championship. Clay still has a chance, right? So, Boehm has been fast. He's won. He's had all the poles and won all but 2 races and been on the podium, the 2 that he hasn't won. So, I mean, he's cleaning house. Yeah. So, that's the way things are going. It's interesting because we could carry sand in the car too if we wanted to, but I don't play that game. You know, I hate racing that way, and it hurts to lose that way.
Mhm.
But when we win, you know we earned it. You know what I mean? Like I feel good about that. And you know, if you beat us fair and square, then that makes me want to work harder to go faster, right? But when you lose to that, then you know, okay, well, we're just racing. We know we're racing to be the best of the guys that are transparent and following the rules and whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And that's just the way it is. We've made mistakes in the past in IMSA and SRO. We've been penalized. We've had wins taken. We know how it is. We don't. You know, we were kicked out of the roar one time, and you know we made mistakes. But when we get penalized, it's a real mistake. We don't. We're not trying anything. We're not trying anything. We the cars are developed. We built the best cars. We have the best products in the cars. We have real race dampers and diffs in the cars. So our cars are, you know, there's nothing else to make them go faster. And at the end of the day, you go faster, they just slow you down. So it
Yeah.
is what it is, right?
So at the end of the day, it's really you've got the car to the limits of where it can go. So it's now up to the driver to use what he has to get the car where he needs to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and the guys are showing, you know, PJ had a little bit of a rough weekend. He expected to be fast. I expected him to be fast, and you know, we missed something, whether it's set up or, you know, he got hit in race 2 and kind of took him right out of contention right away. So, and I expected PJ in race 2 to make up, because we found a couple of things out of race 2, out of race 1, and we made some adjustment. PJ saw some things on the data that showed him where he was losing time, so he knew where what he had to work on, and I expected him to do, you know, to chase Cristian down to the front, and just, I don't know, it was a lap 3 or something like that. He got hit. I don't remember, early on in the race. Lap 1.
I actually have the TC. I actually have from the TC live clip. I have to clip.
I think it was lap 1.
It was early.
Yeah, it was just really from like my point of view. I'm down the straightaway watching this in my mirror. It's just
Yeah, so
I don't think PJ really did anything wrong.
no, like the Brian Herta cars are having braking problems, but
I don't
the
know if that
second
was
hit was pretty avoidable. Like if you look at it from the onboard of the car, but
yeah, even the first move
I think
probably
that's
wasn't.
the frustrating part about it, is that like the second one's pretty avoidable if you just think logically of where's the car gonna go when it's spinning this way, it's gonna go this way, and for the other car to turn into the car that's going this way was just
Mhm.
the most frustrating part about it. But
that looked like a pretty hard hit. I've been spun around in a mini before getting hit by something, but that looked like it was a lot quicker than my axe than when I got hit by it.
yeah, and I felt bad for PJ. He was, you know, like I said, I think we all expected him to do well in that race, and you know, like I said, we knew what he needed to fix and what we needed to fix, and we did, and you know, at lap 1 or whenever that was, just took him out of contention at that point. And I don't know, where did PJ finish?
Eighth, I think.
Eighth. Okay, so he did go forward with a bad car. So I mean, that's not bad, right? So the car was beat up, the wheels were broken and bent, and he just raced the whole thing like that and finished 8th, which was good. You know, he was pretty upset with the Hyundai guys, and you know, the interesting thing is the Hyundai, the Brian Herta car is a perfect example of a new car, right? They built the car, zero development, and shows up at the series, and it's off pace, right? So, you know, the series is giving everything they can to make them faster. They're taking weight off, whatever. Like, you know, the series will work also with you, and that's how a new car should be. You know, the new car should be penalized straight out of the box, and the penalties should be released race by race, just to be able to get you what you need to be competitive.
Mhm.
And it's kind of backwards here. So right now, Yeah. Anyway, but the Herta car is the perfect example. It will be there.
Yeah, you'd think with the Elantra N, I think it uses the same powertrain as the Veloster N, but it also like weighs a lot more than the Velosters, as far as I know.
Yeah, and like the bad thing about this new car coming in is that the Veloster and TCA has an extremely bad rep for cheating. So I've usually people would want to help out a new car, but nobody wants to help Brian Herta because of the
History.
past.
Yeah, we had a bad experience
Caught
2
cheating
years
twice
ago.
majorly. Like, who's
Yeah.
going to want to help you? So,
Yeah.
and the one thing that baffled me this weekend, though, is that these new cars weren't faster because both of these new cars, their home track is VIR.
Mhm.
So for both new cars to be, we were right there with them, which is, and they're a lot faster. I was extremely surprised for them not to be faster than what.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, yeah. So, go ahead, Christian. Sorry.
And yeah, the guy that set pole did a 209, but he wrecked his car right after he did the 209. So, it was just a little surprising that these teams that are literally at their shops are at VIR were not faster. I didn't think they were as fast as they should have been, but
Yeah, I mean they're faster. They're just controlling it. They're not letting all the sand out of the bags yet. So
Right.
but the same thing. There's another example of Brian Herta building the Veloster 3 years ago, and they came in and man, we couldn't touch him either. And the interesting thing is like I don't understand why these guys think that they can just continue to get away with it. We have the same ability to do the things they do. We know what they're doing, right? We choose to do the right thing, and it's fine. That's how we race, and and we will be around a lot longer because of the way we operate. Instead of coming in, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure from Hyundai, and Brian Herta with all their stuff that the name, and they have to win for Hyundai. I'm sure Brian's made a bunch of promises to Hyundai, and man, they're just having a terrible season with the new car that they expected to just either get the help, but at some point they're not going to help anymore, right? Because they already know how you operate, and I get along with all the teams, and the funny thing is, I don't know, Brian Herta's never said 2 words to me. And the only reason why he doesn't is because he probably knows he's not operating the way we should all, That's my view. The guy's never said hi to me. We go across or pass in the paddock and he looks the other way. The funny thing is he's hired our people, our engineers, our mechanics, they got big budgets to bring people in, but whatever. We'll be around a lot longer. We'll continue to win a lot more races than they will. Our races our wins and our trophies are earned the proper way.
Well, what's funny is that the N division for Hyundai actually has a lot of engineers and designers from the BMW M division.
Yeah, I've heard how did the N brand was born. It's racing. It's marketing. There's a lot of money behind it, a lot of pressure. The beautiful thing for us too, right? So, we've been supported by the marketing team at Mini. They, something brought us together 8 years ago, and they know that we will. I have no pressure to win. We race with passion, and we want to do the brand right, and the community is massive. So you just can't be playing games. Like, that's just not the way. If we're not gonna, it took us 2 years to get on the podium in IMSA, right? Like IMSA said, look, we're not gonna give you an inch. We need some data. Man, we were running 20th. Back then there was 30 cars in our class. Nobody gave us an inch, and we worked really hard. We had good drivers, and we developed and we put the best products on the car. And we come from IndyCar, so I have the same background as a lot of the big teams like like hurt us and all that. So I know how it is. I know the engineering side of it. The other difference is I'm hands-on, right? I work on the cars. The cars have a lot of my love on them, and I'm just going to do it the right way. I will be transparent with the series, and like I said, we're going to earn our wins. We're not gonna jeopardize our uh, you know our resume. And if you come to, our reputation, you come to our shop and you walk in the lobby and we have no more space for trophies. We're probably one of the winningest teams in the last year, the last 3 years in IMSA, right? And we've won a lot in SRO too. And like in everything that I've done personally in racing, we've been extremely successful. And again, I have my best friend Rob, who's half owner of the team, and he's our lead engineer. Together we've raced in all kinds, and we've been very successful. We just love the race. We have a lot of passion. So and you can't beat that. At the end of the day, the people, our drivers, our mechanics, we 80% of our crew are the local dealers, mechanics, and those guys love their product and they love the race team and they can't wait to come and help at the team. We had 6 technicians at VIR. VIR, that region has a lot of love for the race team, and I think 5 of the 6 guys have been helping us several years in a row. 2 of them are coming back to help us at Sebring. Like there's a lot of passion for the brand and for the group of guys that we have.
So what dealerships out there sent technicians to you all for VIR?
Hendricks, Flo, and oh my, you had to ask me that question.
Missing letters that we didn't know which one it was.
What was that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Say that again? Yeah.
I've heard of the Hendrick dealership. I've heard of Flo as well. I was curious if I think it's still called Mini of Alexandria, but I think they might have changed their names if they might have sent somebody.
Yeah. All those guys in that region are awesome. The managers and the dealers, the service managers there are eager to send their guys over. There's no when we request for technicians from the dealers in the VIR region, Virginia, we just get more than we can handle. It's awesome, the support. And those guys, it's cool. It's cool to have the repeat ones because the weekend goes a little smoother because they've been there before and they know what to expect and what to do. This past weekend at VIR, regardless of Clay's engine, we were out to dinner early. The sun was still out when we went to dinner. I don't want to say early, but it was 6 or 7 o'clock. But sometimes we're still at the track until 9. So it was a fairly smooth weekend. The weather was tough the first couple of days. It was gorgeous Saturday and Sunday. I was hoping for a little rain. Maybe that would have given us a chance for Clay to beat Bohm a little easier, with the rain, and maybe give Cristian a chance to run down the new cars, but Mother Nature didn't help us this weekend. So, we finished exactly where we expected to be, except for Clay's DNF. That was unexpected.
So I imagine when it comes to racetracks, the ones that probably have the most corners probably tend to put the Mini at a bit of an advantage.
I mean, it's interesting. Yes, we have. I mean, the Mini already. The street cars is amazing. Handles amazing. Get rid of those run flats, and the car is even better. The race car again. Remember, it's BOP'd, so the other cars are similar, but none of the other cars have custom racing KWs, right? We've been sponsored. We said this last show that we have real support by very, very reputable companies, really good companies. And, you know, the KWs are custom made for the minis. They've been developed, you know, yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about, especially about KW when it comes to suspension. You know, the other thing we have an advantage is brakes. You know, we have, I said this also last show, we have a company that makes Penske's NASCAR rotors. And is that PJ?
Yeah,
Is
that's
PJ
me.
making?
Hey,
Good
PJ.
day, guys.
What's going on, PJ?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just got back. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
But everything went great.
Do I need
Awesome.
to like change my shirt? I'm the only one in here with an old shirt on. It feels like.
I think you all got some good shirts on. I managed to actually put on some Miniac stuff this time.
Awesome. Very
Nice.
cool.
Nice. So anyway, you know, going back to the handling in the corners, like, yeah, for sure we have the best dampers and we have the best brakes, you know. Yeah, the only big advantage I think that Clay has over Bohm's Honda Type R, besides you know, the advantage is brakes, I think, right? Suspension and brakes. I mean, Clay can out brake any of the TC cars, and same with our TCA cars. We you know, we got to remember we developed for endurance racing IMSA, so our brakes had to last 2 to 4 hours back then, and so the heat doesn't hurt us. Even the engines we were running at normal operating temperatures when it was 100 degrees on Friday. I mean, it was brutal, you know.
Oh, I know.
And
Talking about high temperatures, it's been hotter than heck out here in Kansas, so it's just been incredibly uncomfortable outside most days.
Yeah. But you know, we still have our weaknesses too. I mean, the heat. I say the heat doesn't affect us, but it does affect cars regardless.
Mhm.
You know, maybe ours less than the others, but yeah. I mean, you know, we're super proud of the product that we built. The mini street car is already a great platform. So, you know, making it a race car makes sense. The suspension and the brakes and all that is just superior of everybody else. So gives these guys a good weapon to carry to the fight, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know.
I was gonna say, PJ, either you were getting really good at holding that mug or your screen froze.
I think my screen froze, but I should be back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we
You're
see
good.
you now. But yeah, apparently one of our viewers wants one of the shirts you guys are wearing. So
We are going to work on that. Actually, Clay and I were just talking about it. So we'll have some swag here, hopefully in the next, I don't know, a few weeks to a month. So stay tuned.
yeah, I've been investing in that now. I got hats, and the guy who made them, I didn't realize this, but it has a green on the bottom of the bill.
Nice.
And it actually matches my car.
Nice.
So it ended up working out pretty good. But yeah, that's
Awesome.
Yeah, these cars are just the mini in general. It genuinely lives up to the reputation of an underdog. It is a true underdog. I mean, you can see every video I've ever watched of like a mini racing, even like a classic one. You can see like the classic mini like chasing down the Mustang, like just nipping at its heels, going down the racetrack.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Here's this Mustang like flooring it down the track, and the mini's right behind it.
It's awesome.
Mentioning that underdog, I think that really did define, I guess, like my weekend at VIR is going through the field and then being able to keep up with those faster cars again was just, I feel like it was a real underdog performance, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the mini is it's one of those cars that it's people kind of underestimate them to a degree. They look at it as a little economy hatchback, and they don't think that these things can do a lot more than they look like they can do.
Yeah, and they're getting better too, right? Because I know a lot of customers that I've talked to say, "Oh yeah, I drove a Mini, you know, in 2006," and like, yeah, well, it was pretty awesome in 2006, but have you driven the latest one? Like, that's an awesome Mini. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of people that haven't given it another try. Just, you know, so if you haven't driven a brand new, you know, from a 2015 and newer Mini, the F series chassis. I mean, the car is it's just awesome.
I mean, as far as the minis go down across the board from a raw driving perspective, the first gens were really kind of had that raw feeling with driving. And then the current one has all the reliability, has a little bit more comfort, but it's also just when I get into my JCW and I take off down the road, it just feels like it wants to go fast. It has just that, you can just sense that it wants to go faster than what you're going at.
That's why I drive mine in eco mode, because in normal mode or sport mode, it's just a Tasmanian devil, you know. It's just I gotta go. So
well,
yeah.
you have a JCW Clubman though. That thing, I would drive that in sport mode, traction control turned off, you're popped over in sport automatic. I'd be racing down the highway in that.
Well, don't get me wrong, I have, but you know, in the morning heading to work, sometimes you just want to be relaxed, just waking up. So eco mode is it's a nicer drive for me, you know.
Yeah, it's fun. I've tried eco mode though. I've tried eco mode before. That was the getting onto a highway on an on ramp in eco mode was the most painful experience of my life. It's like you're hitting the accelerator, like, come on, keep going.
You know what's cool about eco mode is you got to try to see how much fuel you can actually get out of it.
Oh, they make the little goldfish happy.
Well, whatever, right? Because you know that under the hood you have a monster, and at the same time, especially with the gas prices now, if you go in eco mode, man, I play with that a lot, and I've gotten about 20 extra miles out of tank of gas in eco mode. It's kind of fun to try to achieve the high numbers too.
Well, I got to drive out to Colorado in July for minis in the mountains, so I'm trying to decide if I want to go out there and get the best fuel economy, or if I want to get there quicker.
Well, it goes fast in eco mode too, just doesn't get up there as fast. But yeah,
it doesn't get up.
I
there.
get it.
It's just kind of like you're just kind of humming along, and you're like,
right.
Well, this is just the slowest feeling ever.
I drive my street car in eco mode, but 95% of the time, and it feels, I guess, maybe it's with my tune, but it feels just fine. Mm-hmm. And if you get on it in eco mode, the boost hits even harder. So I guess it's almost more fun.
There is louder,
technically. The car's a lot louder in eco mode than it is in any other mode.
Are you sure you don't have your modes reversed?
Nope.
plugged like the plugs turned in upside down. No, I swear it's eco mode.
That's funny.
Well, those what was it with those cars? I don't know. It's just they have sport, mid, and eco. It's like the original cars. It had one mode, and that was it. It was basically get in the car, put it in drive, or not drive, but shift into first and then take off.
Yeah.
And that's the way they were. Then they added the sport button in the second gens, and then they added the 3 mode thing in the third gens. So unfortunately they took the pops out of the exhaust. So
they did?
Yeah, mine does not need mine pops like really low. And on very rare occasions, like I can hear it sometimes, but it's not nearly the loud firecracker that my 2017 Cooper S was.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
That being said, it's not terrible, because I always noticed that when I drove my old car with all the pops and crackles and everything, I intentionally drove it just so I could hear the pops and crackles. I would shift just so I could get the crackles out of the tailpipes. The new car, I just drive it like a normal manual transmission car, and I don't care if it pops or not out of the tailpipe.
Yeah.
So it just ends up working out. It's just really funny. But we were talking, PJ. We were talking about your little spin.
Yeah, that was more than a spin. It was more like getting treated like a pinball.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said on the radio, PJ.
Yeah.
Oh, I said a lot more than that, and I'm pretty sure that's not.
that hit right there looked like it. I got hit by a truck in my 2013 Cooper S years back, and it totaled the car, but I got spun completely around. That looked like you were blindsided.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was coming when I was turned in sideways, and I kept my foot in it to try and pull me through. And then I saw Sally coming in, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I just closed my eyes. It is what it is. It sucked. The Hyundai is the culprit in this. Sally had nowhere to go. I felt really bad for her. But that was
She
just
felt bad for you too.
yeah, I know. And that was just not the weekend I wanted. But thank God I was in a Mini, and it's one of the strongest and best built chassis. I didn't feel it. I'm totally fine. My idiot move at NOLA actually hurt me a little bit more than that. But yeah, I was fine. I mean, we were able to continue on. The driver's side door, I was hit so hard it actually popped off the hinges. So I'm radioing to the guys saying, guys, the door's off the hinges. Rob was getting back to me saying, well, if you come into pit lane and we try and fix it and we can't, our race is screwed. So I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm just going to keep on going. Luckily, we had the red flag, and you're not allowed to work on the car under red flag conditions, but you are allowed to open the door for driver comfort and cooling. So Lewis came over and he's like, oh, put it back on the hinges, like you're good to go, brother. So yeah, it was really good. And then, I mean, I got 3 or 2 positions back. We ended up finishing 8th, getting some valuable points. Definitely not the weekend I wanted to have. We are way better than we're showing right now. And I'm so happy that Cristian got the podium. That made my day, especially on his birthday. And we're going to be back up there, and we're both going to be on the podium at some point in time. Hopefully at Watkins Glen.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully it's a relatively easy rebuild on that side of your car.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I mean, luckily it looks like just a quarter, and the door, which we'll probably leave the door on and have a new one prepared. But I mean, that's a door that if it gets hit again, I don't have to worry about it because we'll already have a new one sitting. So
yeah. That'll buff out.
Why? You just got a couple dents in it. It was already dented a little bit before, but it just added to the character marks, so it'll be okay. My main thing is I keep on telling Lewis and the team I'm sick of putting bloody stickers on the car every weekend. I always do it at the start of the season, and I had an idiot move at NOLA, so I had to redo them after that. And now when we get to Watkins Glen, I got to put some more stickers on there.
Basically, you're the only Mini that's basically sticker bombed.
Oh Jesus, yeah, but I mean that's what lets me get out there. That's how I get to go do it, and that's the one reason why I was late coming into this is because I had a meeting with one of my sponsors. He messaged me today that tonight was a night he could get together, and they're like owners of multi-million-dollar companies, and he's owner of Aletha Corp, which is a huge Canadian company which does like background data infrastructure, storage solutions, setup of all kinds of anything electronic storage and security. So when he's got time for me, I gotta go because time is of the essence of the minute. So So thank you for waiting for me. I greatly appreciate it. And it was really great to see him. And when I told him I had to go for this, he's like, get the hell out of here, go do your thing and have fun. So yeah.
So do you happen, PJ, I have to ask, do you happen to follow a YouTube channel called Car Creations up in Canada?
No, never heard of it.
It's a Mini Cooper YouTube channel up there. A friend of my, one of the hosts, a friend of mine, Ethan Jones.
I will go check it out for sure then.
But he said he's going to probably try. I think he's watching the live stream tonight, so he didn't even know. He asked me. I said, "Hey, do you know one of the drivers for the teams from Canada?" And he's like, "Really? Which one?" I sent him your name. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that now."
Awesome, very very cool. Well, I look forward to hopefully getting in touch with him.
Yeah, but he has a pretty cool Mini. It's a lifted Clubman.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
almost like the car rally edition or rally edition.
Yeah, he has a lifted Clubman with I think it has rally lights on the front too and everything. But he has a lifted Clubman. It's a really super cool. It's something you don't see very often. You don't see lifted Minis very often.
Yes, no. It's usually they're slammed.
Yeah, although the lifted ones look really cool. I remember when the new Top Gear had their rally. They had a rally car that was basically it was a F56 Mini that was lifted up a little bit, had rally wheels and tires on it, and they would do a rally stage with it.
That's super, super cool. Well, even you have like the Baja Rally, right? Like Lewis, I think you've done something with that before, seeing.
I have, yes.
So it's super cool, and it just goes to show you that minis can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except with the Baja Rally, how much of that car actually is a Mini Cooper aside from the body?
Well, yeah, that one isn't, but the one I actually ran my, my girlfriend's R60 in 2017, I think it was. And we lifted it a couple of inches, put some big tires, and went to the Sonora Rally and raced it. So that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like it was a hoot then.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Christian was in the car with me, and he had his Bluey, which is a blue teddy bear. We'll have to find that picture.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Christian. Your dad's embarrassing you on live TV.
Stuff you will only hear about here on a live stream.
Yes.
It's on the live stream, and this is going to be saved on my channel, so it'll be there for future generations.
So
5 years from
great,
now, come back and watch.
blackmail for all my
For
friends.
everyone to see for all the rest of time.
Yep. Everyone can watch it, and all of you are going to have a copy of this to share on your channel too, if you want. So you'll be able to do that. Christian, you might clip out that section of the video for your fans.
There'll be a little bit of pause, and then it kicks off again.
Exactly.
Don't you all still have your favorite teddy bear when you guys were kids?
I got all my toys from when I was a kid. If my mom ever sold her house, I'm toast with all my collectibles I got there. I didn't get rid of or sell anything, and she kept everything for me.
No, I don't have.
Did I have like a blanket or something?
I don't have anything that I can think of from when I was a kid. My 9-year-old nephew has his favorite teddy bear still.
Yeah,
all my stuff stored in one of the closets.
Yeah. The closest thing to stuffed animals I have right now is I have a little Mini Cooper Bulldog sitting in my closet, and then I have this.
Sweet.
Nice.
Very cool.
Where's Bluey, Christian?
Oh my god!
Isn't he in your bed by your pillow?
You got him? You got to see him.
No.
Bring him. Aren't you in your room? Bring Bluey.
Oh no! Oh, I definitely. Oh my god!
Bring Bluey. Let me see him.
Hey, dude, nothing to be embarrassed about. I still got my original Care Bear that I got when I was a kid. It's at my mom's house.
We all still have our.
It's what made us who we are today. It's all
a blast from the past.
made us who we are.
Oh my god!
Let's see it.
Show us.
Oh.
I'm trying to think if I have anything up here that is like a reminder of childhood. Let's see. I got nothing. I got Lego sets up there. I build a lot of Lego cars, but that's about it.
That's cool.
Well, I collected. My grandfather gave me Lego sets as a kid, so I just kept doing them. Like every time I'm bored lately, I go to Target and I buy a new Lego set. I have the Lego Batmobile up there. I have the Lego Porsche up there somewhere. In fact, my computer's sitting on the Porsche box.
Very, very cool.
I built the turbo version. I didn't like the Targa because I like the wider flares in the back, so I built the turbo.
Yeah. Well, they're doing crazy stuff with the Lego cars now, like with the GT3 RS, the Porsche version of that.
Oh, I want that one.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
They had a Ferrari. I was at the Lego store at Crown Center in Kansas City for a British car show. They had a British car show in the center square. And the Lego store is right next door because Legoland's in that area.
Yeah.
I went and bought the Batmobile, but I almost bought the $400 Porsche. I'm not Porsche. It was a Ferrari. I think it was a Ferrari Daytona.
Yeah.
It's like a $400 Ferrari. And I was like, well, let me see, $100 Batmobile, $400 Ferrari.
Yeah.
I could have spent a little bit more and got the $650 Titanic, but
Yeah. It's expensive.
What about the $700 to start?
The Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon, yes.
They
They
actually
also have the Superstar Destroyer as well. That's like massive.
They actually had
flying
around the ceiling of the Lego store. They actually had a Star Destroyer, Lego Star Destroyer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, what about the McLaren F1 Lego?
Yeah, they have that. I think they did a Bentley as well.
They also I went into a Lego store at the mall, and they actually had a Lego Formula One car, but I could not find the set anywhere on the shelves.
Yeah.
It was like a huge Lego Formula One car.
The only
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really fast.
F1 car I have that's cool is the
Lewis Hamilton. Nice.
Mercedes.
Do you have this one?
So I do have that one, but it's in a box.
I have this is the McLaren Senna.
Yeah.
And then of course we got the Lego Mini. We got
Yeah.
I
You gotta
do
have
have
that.
something you
all right, I gotta
probably
now that,
don't.
now that we're talking about Legos, I have to show you the Batmobile.
Yeah.
So here's the
That one's
Batmobile.
getting toys off, I guess.
You know, this just goes to prove that we're all big kids at heart.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, exactly. And
Probably don't have one of
Two.
these. A little mini challenge car.
oh, you
I
got one
found
too.
this one on
Nice.
eBay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
You got one too.
I used it for about a day and then it broke. So
I have the same one.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh.
but still in the casing.
Well, yeah, displaying on the shelf. I don't have a scale electric set or
Yeah,
scale electric. Yeah, I don't have a scale electric track.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't have a
Nice.
slot car track, so I can't play with it on that. Although I like to keep them looking. I could like to keep those looking kind of cool on the shelves.
Oh, I do. Wait. More mini related stuff that I have.
You have this one.
Oh, wow.
Wait, I have something even
Nice.
cooler. Oh, if I can find it.
It's something even cooler. It's something even cooler. It's like playing on top of this. Okay, I got this little guy right here.
I have a whole mini set.
Oh, I've seen that. That's
wow.
super
Okay,
cool.
now I'm jealous. Now I'm jealous.
So
Nice.
usually these go for like $400, and some guy was selling it for like $80, so I bought it. And
Nice.
it's awesome.
If you want some blast from the past memorabilia, I have a JCW Race Team brochure with a bunch of signatures on it. Do any of these look familiar?
Wow.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not old. A classic.
Found it at the mini
Yeah.
dealership one day.
Wow.
Cool.
They were gonna toss it out, and they asked me if I wanted it. So I was like, "Yeah."
That's a piece of history right there.
Uh-huh.
That is.
I
But
do
this-
have a little F-56.
Now here's one crazy for you. So this is the brochure for the GP3 car that they sent to all the dealerships.
Oh, awesome.
Oh wow.
This is the one they actually sent to the dealerships before they realized they had the wrong model year on it.
Mm.
Oh,
So I kept one
Nice.
that's funny. Yeah.
because I had
That's
to. There's actually it's actually the coolest thing. The sales manager at my local dealership has his new mini that he's modifying is a 2023 zesty yellow with white multi-tone roof.
Is that like the highlighter yellow one?
It's really cool looking. It looks really cool in person. He's gonna put 19. He's putting 19-inch OZs on it.
Oh.
He already has a purple tipped exhaust on it, and he's already doing some custom vinyl work on it. It's gonna look pretty impressive when it's done.
Nice.
Nice.
It's gonna be. He's going like over the top with this one. It's gonna be really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so there's all sorts of I guess we all have tons of mini stuff laying around.
I think
Yeah.
I have too many memorabilia. Like I have another model car that
I have 5 of those pullback cars sitting up on my shelf up here from the dealership.
Nice.
Along
Nice.
Let's see what else. I got this is kind of cool. This is my radio control car. It's a Mini Cooper body on top of a Tamiya all-wheel drive chassis.
Nice.
So if I put slicks on it, I can actually do complete 360 donuts.
Nice.
Those things are pretty crazy.
That's cool.
I haven't used it in a while. It's just kind of sitting there collecting dust right now.
Time to bring it out.
Yep, I might have to bring that car back out at some point and race it. This actually, this is one of my coolest things. My dad got me this for Christmas one year. I think it was either last year or the year before. Patty Hopkirk's signature.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh my.
So, I guess I am. I guess I'm obsessed with Mini Coopers. Apparently.
Maybe.
Reason. They're incredible
The-
cars.
Yeah.
Miniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Only mildly obsessed.
Yeah. Well, you got someone who's very jealous. So,
Somebody asking a question?
Just people commenting right now. So I think Tamika F56. So I think that's what it is.
Mm.
So where we go here? Okay, so there's a bunch of comments that were going here. So someone commented Super Teddy.
Yeah, baby.
No. They can change it. Support Teddy. So.
Mm.
Nice.
Toys in their toys. I actually have a mini scale electric set.
Nice.
Someone commented they love my mini mug. Oh, that mini mug. So I got a mini mug there. Dale says loving the show and tell. What's this one? Sean says, funny enough, I just posted a similar comment today about how my mini has me feeling like a big kid. I just got my Countryman 2 years ago, and because of a few drives. Okay. Sean Woods says, I am looking to trade it in for a new JCW Clubman.
Nice.
What's this one? I even have a mini shopping bag that I got from a market in Melbourne.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. No kidding. What else is here? Open question to the guest. For those who own a mini personally, what mini do you own, and have you made any modifications to your car? That's kind of a loaded question for everyone on this group, because I believe if they don't own one, they drive one relatively frequently. I don't know. I know Cristian owns a mini, and I know Lewis owns a mini. I don't know if Clay or PJ own minis.
I do not.
I don't, sadly, but I get to drive one every race weekend, which is the best thing in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are already the most modified ones you can get then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But it puts a smile on my face every time I know I'm heading out to a race weekend with the team and I get to get in that car.
And I send PJ a picture and Clay a picture almost every when we're loading up.
I love it. It honestly, it makes my day when I'm stressed out at work and really looking forward to getting through everything and getting to the race weekend and seeing the team. And Cristian sends me a picture. It puts a smile on my face. It really does make my day. And I've told him that a lot of times.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
We have an awesome group of guys,
Yes.
team drivers. We have a great time.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to get through a rough weekend with this group of guys all the time, So,
And I think talking about just like the atmosphere, I think definitely this weekend going into VIR, I was able to road trip there with all my buddies that are mechanics on the teams, and I think it made that this weekend a lot easier in a sense of just being relaxed. Like I don't know, it just felt normal. A lot of race weekends feel normal, but it just felt like a different type of normal. Like I wasn't stressed out or anything like that. I was pretty locked in and just ready to go. But yeah, we had a lot of fun this definitely at VIR, and I think that definitely helped me out personally of just being able to get in the car and go do my job.
Yeah. Well, one of the fun I could definitely say this. I'm pretty sure you would agree is that at the end of a race for you guys, for some of you anyway, you hop back in your mini that you drive on a daily basis, and you drive home basically having fun with your cars, with the same car you had fun with on the track. And I guarantee you it's a possibility that not many of these other racing teams are hopping into Honda Civic Type Rs or Hyundai Veloster N's or whatever and driving home in those cars at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's quite accurate. Yeah.
They're probably not having nearly as much fun. So,
well, it's part of what Mini's all about: the passion and the enthusiasm and the fun and just the pure experience of the drive, which you don't get with those other brands. It's more generic, right? This Mini is fueled by passion.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't find. That's something you find. You do find that passion in a lot of higher end sports cars and everything. it's very unusual in the auto industry these days to find that in a smaller, more easily accessible car.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot easier for someone to get access to a Mini Cooper than it is for someone to get access to a Porsche or Ferrari or Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Those cars that have that passion and everything that you see in that brand, but that's all the way up here, and the Mini you can get right here.
Yeah.
So that's saying something about the brand, and it's just one of the few brands out there where you can go out, where you can just hop in it right off the lot and go have fun with it. It doesn't matter which one it is. It could be a Cooper, it could be a Cooper S, it could be a JCW, it could be the new electric car, which is actually a hoot to drive. I've driven several of them, and they're really fun.
Yeah.
It can be a hybrid, and the hybrid is really kind of insane if you put it in full electric, because it's just driving the rear wheels. So you have a rear wheel drive Cooper.
Oh,
That could be a blast. And honestly, like the fun of it is the chassis, because it's literally like driving a go-kart on the street, which is
yeah.
the most incredible thing. And that's the first time I had the chance to drive a Mini on the street way, way, way back. I was still in university, and I got in the car and I hammered into an on-ramp, and the front end bit in and the rear end started coming around, and it was a bit damp, and the guy in the passenger side seat said, "Whoa!" And it was just the most incredible sensation driving that car. And I was like, this is a car.
Yeah, well, I've gotten on my new car. I've gotten onto the highway a couple of times and shift into first, floor it out of the traffic light when it turns green to get onto the ramp, and I hit here and it still spins the tires again. Take off down the ramp. And I have the traction control still turned on, so it's like stability control is turned on and it's still spinning its tires.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's just a lot. It's just a lot of fun with those cars. But what's the next? So which race is next for you guys?
Watkins Glen.
Watkins, yeah.
Yep, Watkins.
And what do you hope? Anything you're hoping will happen there? Obviously, podium finishes again, but is it a difficult track? Is it an easy track?
Well,
I think go ahead.
I was just going to say that we've been, as a team, very successful at Watkins Glen. So I expect basically the same. I think depending on the TCA BOP, we're I mean I expect to be the same weekend. I expect Clay to be racing for a win, and PJ and Cristian, hopefully the opportunity to get on the podium. But unless the BOP is fixed, it'll be maybe as good as a fourth, maybe.
So I've been wanting to ask you this. I wanted to ask you the last one. You're saying VOP?
Yeah, balance of performance.
Oh, balance of performance. Okay, so basically all the cars are tuned in a way to get them all equal.
Correct.
Yeah, minimum weight with driver, ECU maps, minimum and maximum ride heights. There's a whole formula to it. So the series is really good with it, and they're very proactive. They just need to adjust a little bit more. So
I would imagine then that the heaviest car usually dictates the rest of the cars.
In a way,
yeah, maybe they have different ways of, I guess you call, adjusting or penalizing a car that's too fast. Yeah. Whether it's like PJ said, ride height, weight, or power maps. So like I said earlier on in the show, it just depends. They are constantly changing, and so far the new cars haven't really slowed down. And I expect that they'll continue, and I expect that the new cars know that that's coming too, right? So they know they've been winning because the cars are I don't want to say better, just faster, and they know that that's coming, right? So we all know, like if we won all the races, we would expect to be slowed down, right? So it's just the way it is. And so yeah, we'll see. if things change in the TCA class, then maybe PJ and Christian can fight for a third place or a second. You know, hopefully a win. That's what we go racing for. But we know where we're at the moment. You know, and even though we feel like we've been very successful there. But you know, the best thing that could happen for us is that it rains. Just that's the ultimate equalizer. Right there is all talent, right? And I believe that we got the best, you know, the top best drivers in each in the minis, and in the minis, the best car in the damp in the wet. So you know, if the BOP is not correct, then let the rain equalize it, and then just let the guys show their you know, their stuff. Just go out there and win. So we'll see.
Do your rain dance for Watkins Glen. I'm doing mine.
Yeah, I haven't brought my rain stick, so I got a rain stick I'm gonna bring. You know, you know, I'll walk all weekend around with it. So if it rains, it works. You know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway,
That's the way to prepare. I wanted to ask this. We all know that the Mini is eventually going to be completely redesigned. They're working on a complete refresh of the F56, even a chassis. I think it's going to even include a chassis code name change.
okay.
They're keeping the old they're basically, for the internal combustion, they're keeping the old chassis. They're putting in a new engine, and they're putting a whole new body on the car. So how do you think that will impact the vehicles on your team when that does come around?
Yeah, it just means developing a new Mini. You know, doesn't worry me too much. We know the brand well. We know the chassis well, so we know the DNA. Again, we have really good partners with KW and Drexler and you know, all the performance stuff that we do use, Pro System with the brakes, that we'll just build another car. We've done it with a TC car, and if we get a new chassis, then we will do that. You know, we've had some discussions with you know, I've been bugging Minnie about the electric car, because you know electric is going to come at some point, and I would like to get a jump start on it. So obviously there's interest there because the market's going to go electric, and first it was 2030, now it's like 2033. You know, but regardless, racing is always the revolving, the evolution, right? So we'll go racing before electric, before all the cars are 100% electric. But so yeah, we just want to stay ahead of the ball game, and yeah, we can develop cars. You know, we build everything in house, which is really good. You know, from the cages, we have an amazing system with scanning, CAD drawings, you know, CNC bending tubes and laser notching them. So, like, in my mind, I don't think anybody builds a better touring car than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And not just because it's Mini, but you know, we start with a great chassis, which is a Mini, and we just make it the best race car in probably an SRO or an IMSA.
Yeah.
I know someone at the Mini dealership near me who he bought an electric Mini, and he's already lowered it. So it's
Sure.
It's riding around 16-inch OZ wheels, I believe, and it also has, I think he did coilovers on the front and springs on the rear. He did full coilovers originally, but it was so low to the ground that he was concerned the battery was going to hit the ground. So he had to put some adjustment to raise it up a little bit at the back to kind of keep that from happening. But I was telling some people, if they had built, remember, everyone's probably seen the Pace Setter car, the electric JCW, basically. If they had actually made that a limited run production car, like the GP3, I probably would have bought one, because I just thought it was such a cool looking car.
Oh yeah, they would have sold every single one of them.
Yeah. They seriously would have. It was just a cool car.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if they ever, it's a good chance we're looking, when we saw that car, we're probably seeing what the next GP will be. It'll probably be a full electric, high performance hatchback.
Most likely. Yeah.
So, but I think TC Racing would probably be pretty interesting if the cars went electric.
Yeah.
Certainly would make things interesting, because at that point you're now working on a completely different level of technology. You're not dealing with internal combustion anymore. You're dealing with batteries and generators and all these motors and everything, trying to keep the cooling going, so keep the car charged so it doesn't run out of power during the race.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, all these different things to take into consideration, but it'll probably be an interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing a test car from the JCW Racing Team that is an electric. That would be interesting.
Yeah, and we're ready to develop it, so it's just a matter of time. You know, I've been pushing Mini a little bit, but it just has to be the right timing, right? So, and we just don't want to be behind when it all happens. We just want to be ahead of the ball game.
So you just want to make sure that when it does happen, basically you're ahead of the curve to some degree.
Yeah, and especially electric, right? Because it's such an unknown. And you know, when it comes to combustion car, I mean, it's the DNA is there. We know it, right? So again, it won't be very hard to build the next generation combustion Mini, you know. But the electric side is a whole new ball game. So the development is going to be it's unknown at this moment. So you know, I'd like to get a jump start on it, at least to play with it. Yeah.
Well, they have a vehicle already that's set up so basically it's an electric setup to go racing, basically. So you have somewhat of an idea of what they built.
Yeah.
And what's it equipped with, what it's equipped with. So when it comes time for you guys to start developing a race car that's electric, you'll have a little bit of an idea of what works in the car, what doesn't work in the car, and you'll be able to tweak it from there.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely make things more interesting as far as racing is concerned to head in that direction. That'll be something interesting to see. But yeah, they're coming out with Mini's coming out with some new cars at some point. BMW already released their X1s, the new X1. We've just lost Lewis. BMW already released the new X1, which gives us a bit of an insight of what the new Countryman's going to be like. And I'll see if I can find him here since he popped out. We'll wait for him to come back. But anyway, so we know what that's going to be. They said the new hybrid Countryman's going to probably have about give or take 322 horsepower or so out of a hybrid.
Oh, wow.
So I'm predicting that the next JCW Countryman will probably have about 400 horsepower.
That's a lot of
big number. That's really cool.
I'm thinking that's what's going to end up happening. It's at some point we're going to see
Yeah.
we're going to see high horsepower. So we're going to see like the next Cooper is going to be like 200 horsepower, and then we're going to have a 250 horsepower Cooper S, and then we're going to have like a 300 horsepower JCW hardtop.
Wow.
But that also probably means the demise of the manual transmission for some of those models.
Right. Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Seems like BMW is trying to stick with the conventional manual transmission combustion engine, from what I've heard.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Yeah, we would hope so. I do know they're talking about the next internal combustion engine from Mini being a hybrid powertrain. It would be a gas motor with like a 48-volt hybrid assist. So
Interesting.
Anything I guess new. You really don't want to fall behind the times, if you get what I'm saying. And I feel like Mini's trying to be there. I feel like it makes certain car companies look bad if they're just not trying to adapt with the times.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was there was a time when BMW was kind of behind as far as going electric and as far as that technology was. They weren't quite caught up yet, and now it's like they've gone full steam ahead. So we're gonna see some pretty interesting stuff. I'm kind of curious to see if Mini actually goes forward with building the Urbanaut. That's probably one of the weirdest vehicles I've ever seen. It's like let's have a Mini Cooper version of a microbus.
Yeah, it's weird looking.
So
very modern.
Yeah, so we'll probably see that. I did hear that they're eventually going to launch a new electric crossover that's going to replace the Clubman and the four-door hardtop. So that.
Oh no! Don't kill my four-door hardtop. That's my favorite car.
The funny thing is, there's two names that have been circulating: the Paceman and the Aceman.
No, the Paceman's cool. Yeah, bring back the Paceman, but leave the 4-door hardtop how it is.
Well, the Paceman's apparently,
I don't know the stats, but that probably is one of Mini's best-selling cars.
yeah, I think the funny thing is the 2-door hardtop is the best selling in the U.S. The 4-door hardtop is apparently the best selling in Europe. But I guess to appease the U.S. market, they're going to bring out a 4-door Paceman. So,
it's a big market. You have to appease it.
Yeah, but then we also have a vehicle to cater to the people who have big families. So we're going to get the Traveler at some point, which will be a 3-row electric SUV.
Oh wow!
It's taking the Mini and expanding it even further to fit your entire family at that point.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see if they can create a vehicle that size, basically the size of an X3, and at the same time keep the same handling and what makes the Mini a fun vehicle to drive. So, I mean, they've done it very well with the people. Some people would disagree with me. They've done it very well with the Countryman, and they've done it very well with the Clubman. But I'm wondering if with a larger vehicle, how that is going to work, because
you can make it work. It's all in the chassis tuning, and they're one of the best at that. So I'm pretty sure they could make it work. It just depends on the spring rate they put on it, because you also need it to be civil and drivable. So I'm sure if anyone can do it, Mini can find that perfect balance of performance and daily drivability.
I think they'll succeed at it too.
Absolutely.
We do have someone asking a question. Boy Meets Mini wants to know, what racing sims do you guys play?
iRacing and Assetto Corsa, but Assetto Corsa is better than iRacing in my opinion.
I play iRacing primarily.
None. I don't have space in my condo for it. I just get in and go.
PJ plays
I've done this long enough.
The closest thing I get to racing is CSR2 on my iPhone.
Yeah. I have Real Racing 3 on my iPhone.
And on my iPhone, I have 2 Cooper S's and 1 GP3. So
nice.
Yeah, you should have been there. We were all, I think, before race 1, we were all in the office, and PJ started watching a movie.
Yes.
I was like, watching a movie? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And playing his Star Wars game.
Yes.
To get
You're getting in the mood. Getting focused.
I was watching, I'm sure not a lot of people will know this, but License to Drive. Great 80s movie. Yeah, man. I'm an 80s kid. I love every 80s movies. So many good ones, and that just kind of gets me in the mood to go out.
Now, despite appearances, I was born in the early 80s, so.
Oh, okay. I was born a bit earlier than that, so.
Yeah. So I was kind of raised through the 80s into the 90s, but in the 90s, one of the movies I remember watching because I was really excited about it was Demolition Man.
Oh yeah. That was great.
Just because of the cars.
Yes. Oh, super cool.
The whole reason I watched it was
Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock, her first big movie. Yeah. That was great. Really.
The whole reason I watched the movie was just for the cars. I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to see all the cars.
Yeah, but it wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I can still watch it today.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You look back on it from this time frame, and you're like, some of that stuff actually happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some of the technology that they had back that they showed in that movie, we have that technology now, so it's kind of some of that technology.
Oh, wow.
It's really funny to kind of watch that and see how that happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know why someone asked about a mini limo. Thinks Mini should build a limo.
Well, they build
interesting.
limos out of pretty much everything right now, so I'm gonna be opposed to it.
What would be the weirdest car to make a limo out of?
Smart car.
Yes, that's a good one.
That would be funny. That would be really funny. I'd pay money to see that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to ride in it though.
Find one on Google real quick.
Yeah, that'd be small.
Now looking up to see if they actually made a well, I forget. I have a screen here. I can actually do that search myself. Let's see, smart car.
Oh my gosh, they have.
Oh Jesus,
that's amazing.
Yep, they made a smart car limo.
Oh,
the wing doors.
They've made several, including Red Bull even made a car.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh,
they'll do whatever they want with whatever they want.
Well, the Red Bull one,
they can.
Yeah, the Red Bull one just looks like a giant can. Just looks like they cut the car in half and put a giant can in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at Red Bull and the relationship with Mini, like half the cars that they use for promotion up here are Minis that they cut the back half off and they got a Red Bull can sticking out the front of it. So
We're not going to talk about how there's a mini limo.
Have you seen the limo that has the hot tub at the back and everything?
Yeah.
The one with the hot tub in the back. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about the Red Bull cars, when they retire those cars, they make fantastic tailgating cars.
Yes, it's already set up.
Yeah, they take the can off, but they don't remove the cooler, so you still have this very useful thing in the back of this car.
To be found in almost every NFL parking lot.
Yep, there's someone out there who took their Mini Cooper, who took the Red Bull Mini and made it into a tailgating car. So there's tons. There's tons of those out there. Go ahead. You were going to say something, I think.
Who, me?
I thought I heard you say something. No. You were Christian or somebody then. But someone mentioned a Beetle limo. Is there a Beetle limo? That's funny.
I'm gonna look up a Miata limo. Yep.
Oh Jesus.
Oh gosh.
I'm sure there is.
Problem with Miata limos. You talk about the Miata limo, and I think back to that Top Gear episode with Richard Hammond's convertible limousine that he made.
Yep.
Oh jeez.
There's an RX-7 limo also.
They have an RX-7 limo. I would pay money.
FD RX-7 limo. Someone paid $22,000 for it.
That's not very much.
That's too much.
It's not very much for an RX-7.
Yeah, but it's a limo, so I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
Go
whatever you want.
Go very fast with a lot of people in the back.
Yeah.
But the RX-7 isn't that fast to begin with.
Yeah, but they're interesting, fun cars to drive.
They're good when they're two doors, not.
Well, all you do is LS swap it.
Yeah.
No.
I've raced a rotary before. It's a very different and unique motor.
I like the rotary.
Well, actually, the first sports car I raced, a long time ago. I don't want to date myself, but it was a Toyota AE86 Corolla with a Mazda rotary in it. And it was basically a two-tone chassis.
Those cars, I think, were around in 1980s.
Yeah, it wasn't that late. This was in the 2000s that I raced that, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun. I mean, the chassis was great. It didn't have a lot of power, but you could pass anywhere at Mosport. You could pass an outside of 2, you could pass an outside of 3, because we ran Goodyear slicks on it, and the bloody thing just stuck. You'd get your butt handed to you out the back straight, but that was my introduction to sports car racing, and it was super fun.
Now, speaking of Toyotas, then what are your thoughts of the new GR Corolla?
I haven't seen much about it, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe it's cool, but I'd rather have a mini JCW, to be honest.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a better platform.
It's interesting. It's basically they're taking over where Mitsubishi left off, since Mitsubishi doesn't make any fun rally cars anymore.
Yes. They turned the Eclipse into a bloody SUV.
Yeah.
Okay. I drove an Eclipse SUV when we were at Sonoma, and I was extremely impressed.
Yeah, but it's not an Eclipse. You can't call that an Eclipse.
But I was extremely impressed coming from.
Yes.
Sorry, PJ. Technically, the best generation of the Eclipse to driving the SUV. Yeah, I was impressed.
Why were you impressed?
That's like with.
It had enough power for me to like it. The gearbox was an amazing automatic 8-speed gearbox that shifted exactly like the Clubman somehow. Same speed and everything. It was pretty luxurious for what it was.
Well, that's just like Ford bringing out an electric SUV, and calling it a Mustang.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I've heard it's great and people love it, but
it's like I don't care what you call it. It's not a Mustang.
Exactly. It's like the Eclipse. I still have my 1990 Eagle Talon. I talk to Christian about it all the time, and I will never sell that thing. I haven't driven it in like 16 years, but it's my car and it's super cool.
Yeah. The reason that the Eclipse cross shifts like a Club or Countryman is because the transmission is the same transmission.
I
I believe Mitsubishi makes the 8-speed automatic for the Countryman.
There you go.
Actually, I think I read somewhere that is correct. I think that is correct. I think I did read somewhere they do make the 8-speed automatic for the minis.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So they make the 8-speed automatic, and Getrag makes the 6-speed manual and the 7-speed DCT. So
Getrag is a good transmission company.
yeah, so
They are.
So Getrag, so the manual then DCT cars get the cool German transmissions, and the other ones get the 8-speed Japanese transmission.
Yeah.
But apparently I've driven the 8-speed automatic in the other minis. It's a great transmission. It's really fun to drive.
I think it's better than 7-speed.
It's better than the 7-speed.
I would say so.
I would agree with you as long as it's not. I would agree with you as far as from a Cooper perspective. You're driving a 7-speed DCT in the Cooper, you're better off getting the manual transmission because the DCT in the Cooper is just really, really slow.
Well, no offense to anybody that drives the Cooper, but the Cooper is just.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cooper is a redheaded stepchild of Mini.
Yeah, but you gotta have it.
The new Cooper, the old Coopers, yes, love them, awesome. The new Cooper is the one where it was like, it didn't make sense to buy it, but it does.
And that's the thing now. Back in with the first gen and second gen minis, it made sense to buy the Cooper.
Yes.
I mean, there was a car I really wanted. It was a 2013 Cooper. It was sitting in the mini showroom one time. It was a 2013 Cooper. It was $27,000. Chili red, white roof. It had the JCW Recaro interior, and it had the full JCW body kit on it.
Oh,
no sunroof. So it was the perfect, like you could put some racing wheels and tires on that, get a coilover set up on that thing, and take it autocrossing on the weekends. It'd be the perfect car for that. It just had the look.
Yeah.
But then you get to the Cooper on the F cars, and the F cars, the Cooper was good up until they got rid of the driving modes in the U.S. market. When they took the driving modes out of the cars in the U.S. market, it no longer made sense to buy a Cooper. Because I drove a Cooper that had driving modes in it, and when you put it in sport mode, it popped and crackled like a Cooper S and a JCW. It wasn't as fast, but it was still just as fun.
Yeah.
And you get into them now, and it's like, okay, there's no toggle switch anymore to do anything. There's no ring on the shifter or whatever to change the driving modes anymore. It's like it's completely gone. I still one time tried to use Beamer code to get a Cooper into sport mode, and I did put it in sport mode. It just wouldn't actually do it because the equipment to make it do that is not in the car.
Yeah, it's not built into it.
So there's at least 3 Coopers running around Kansas City that I've tried putting in sport mode before, and the owners don't know it. The owners don't know it. There's several cars. There's that. There's a Countryman. There's a Countryman that was a former service loaner. It was a Cooper S Countryman all 4 with the JCW tuning kit, and it was a manual, no less. That one I had as a service loaner. I did a video on it where I coded the service loaner basically. I changed a bunch of settings in the service loaner, and I think the people who bought it didn't even know that I had done that. They might know now if they're watching this, but I see that car around my town all the time because they live in the same town I do. So they actually it was melting silver with a black roof. They had the thing wrapped in yellow with a blackjack roof. So it looks pretty cool when you see it driving around. It's just really funny. But I remember when that was a car on the lot. It was a good price, and it never sold, so they turned it into a service loaner because no one wanted it. And it was the most fun service loaner to have, especially when they put the silver old man spec wheels on the car, because then it just made it really unassuming.
Yeah,
it has a tuning kit in this car. It has the pro exhaust on it. You get in there, it's like sounds like a normal Countryman, and then you pop the exhaust open, and you just hear that grumble from the exhaust.
That's awesome.
Just something you would not expect. And someone popped in here, said, I had a 3-cylinder Cooper before my current 4-door hardtop S. It had driving modes and was fun to rev out. Yep, I agree. Yeah. The Cooper was a fun car. Was a fun car. That being said, if you're going to buy a Cooper now without the driving modes in them in the U.S. market, you have to get a manual. Otherwise, it's just not as much fun.
Yeah.
It's just not as much fun. Now, I don't know if the Canadian market still has driving modes in the Coopers or not.
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you.
Because I know over in Europe, they still had driving modes as an option for the Cooper. They even had over there though, driving modes were an option for the Cooper S.
Mhm.
Weirdly enough, because I've seen some people do reviews on Cooper S's from the UK, and I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't have driving modes?
I guess it differs on the market. So
Yeah.
we usually up here in Canada, we don't get any of the good stuff, sadly. So
Yeah, I had someone comment on one of my videos today on the R53 saying that all my information was wrong, that the car was facelifted, the R53 was facelifted in 2004, and that it had 170 horsepower and all this other stuff. And I said, you do realize all my specifications are American spec.
yes.
Yeah.
So it was 2005 for us. It had 163 horsepower, and then it had 168, and it's like everything changed. Everything was different in the U.S. market. They got the Mini in 2001, and we didn't get it until 2002 model year.
Okay, interesting.
Well, that's the reason why in the U.S. market and UK market are really weird. So we're in the 2023 model year right now for the Mini.
Yeah, which
Europe,
is early.
Europe is in 2022 still, because 2022 runs from January to December.
Got it.
Whereas, sorry, go ahead.
Typically up here, depending on what manufacturer you're with, they start to roll out the 2023's August or September. So it depends on the manufacturer's supply and when they're going to ship from Europe to here. So
well, the 2023 started coming out to the dealerships around here in like May, I believe. So there's been several 2023s on my local dealer lot, and I've photographed the Untold Edition Clubman that I did a video with. That was a 2023. So they're already coming out. There's going to be a Resolute Edition eventually that I'm going to do a video with, and there's going to be a Untamed Edition coming at some point that I'll get to do a video with, the Untamed Countryman. That will be pretty sharp. But if you ever get a chance to see the Untold Edition Clubman in person, sage green on sage green on sage green, it is a really cool look. Sage green leather, sage green paint, and sage green trim. So it's a really interesting looking car with the gold wheels and the gold accents all over the car. It's just really cool looking. And then the Resolute Editions look really good with all the bronze trim. I think they should have made a Resolute Edition JCW. I think that would have looked incredible with bronze trim on it.
It would have been sick.
Sounds awesome.
Yep. But we have gone on now for about an hour and 42 minutes. Christian's dad popped off here, and he has not been back, so he must have had something else to do. I could open this up to anybody who has any questions, but okay, here's a question. Alan's asking me if I've driven an R58. The answer is yes. I've driven an R58. I've driven an R58 Cooper S, and I've driven an R58 Cooper S with JCW appearance package, gigantic rear tires, a hood scoop, and Lambo doors.
Wow.
I have a video on it, but one of my friends in Kansas City owns that car now, and he also owns a Roadster that has a gigantic wing on the back, big rear tires, and a hood scoop off of a Top Fuel dragster.
Oh god!
Oh wow!
So
Sorry, but no.
They are the oddest looking vehicles oddest looking minis out there. They look like little Hot Wheels cars. They look like Hot Wheels cars. They are ridiculous looking. They draw some negative attention. They draw a lot of positive attention, but everyone just looks at them. It's like some people laugh, some people think they're great, but I've driven them and they're just you can't have a bad day driving those cars because they just look so ridiculous that you're constantly just grinning as you're driving them.
Yeah.
It's like the Roadster's hysterical. You put the roof down and people just look at you as you're driving by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely out there, but still super cool.
I mean, that's the whole point, is to be out there and have fun with them. I mean,
yes,
not every modification is gonna be done the way everybody else wants them done. Like, not everybody's gonna like the modifications I did to my car. Not everybody would like the modifications you would have done to your cars. Like, it's all about what you want. Yeah. So if you want your Mini to have gigantic rear tires and a blower on it and a giant rear wing, go for it. Just have fun with it. Just make sure if you're gonna do it, go just like really go through with it. Don't like hesitate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you hesitate, then you're always gonna wonder, well, what would happen if I had done this?
Yeah.
So you have those cars now that basically show that yeah, it can be done. It looks obnoxious, but it can be done. In fact, the coupe right now that has all that stuff done to it is wrapped in gold vinyl
Oh.
with a black roof.
Oh wow.
It's actually
Wow.
British green underneath.
Oh wow.
Like Clay's car, British Racing Green underneath,
Yeah.
but it's GP3 color.
Well, this one's an automatic. The Roadster though is a manual transmission and it's a JCW.
Oh wow.
Mm.
It's a JCW Roadster, and both of them have 300 horsepower apiece on them. So they're both tuned. They're both tuned and modifications to out the wazoo with those cars. They're
Big power.
they're insane, but it's all front wheel drive. It's just driving the front wheels, but they have those gigantic rear wheels at the back. And the funny thing is, a lot of that stuff just cosmetic.
Yeah.
It could come off. Like they can just take it all off and just put it right back down to normal car pretty quick.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the fun thing about Mini as a brand and the owners. It's the unique personalities and what they bring to
Right.
the brand, and just even with the options you can get from manufacturer, it's such a cool, unique, out there brand with such a great heritage. It's all part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, how many other car brands out there are you encouraged to change the vinyl color on your roof or have different stuff like that?
Nobody. Black, white, silver. These are your color options. These are your 5 sets of wheels you can choose from, and have a nice day.
Yeah, and now with the Mini, you have black, white, silver. You have red. You have red multi-tone, white multi-tone, blue multi-tone.
Yeah.
If you get a Brick Lane edition, you get a blue roof.
Yeah. Yeah. You want the roof this color, you want the mirrors that color, you can change anything.
And if you get the Resolute edition, you get a pepper white roof.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get all sorts of crazy things out there, and all sorts of color combinations. In fact, now the only way you can get, I figured this out now. If you want red mirror caps on your Cooper S, because you can't normally get those on a Cooper S, get the red multi-tone roof. It comes with red mirror caps. So now you have your red multi-tone roof, and you have your red mirror caps on your Cooper S.
There's always a way.
There's always a way. Exactly. There's always a way to just do crazy stuff like that. Or if you can buy a special edition like my car, you can get white trim rings on everything. So I got white taillight rings, white headlight rings, white door handles.
Wow.
Well, it's a 60th anniversary John Cooper edition. So number 7, it's a number 74 car. They have number 74s on the doors.
Super
Right.
cool.
Except I went one step further and modified it. So it's lowered. It has different wheels on it. It has different vinyl done to it. It now has over 10,000 miles.
Oh, awesome.
And I've only owned it since February.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Well, I drive
10,000 miles of fun and smiles.
Yeah, I drive a lot for my job, so I kind of have no choice.
Yeah.
I am a little concerned I might have damaged it the other day on the highway. There was a spot on the highway that was a bridge expansion joint. If any of you have driven over those metal plates on the highway roads, now imagine that metal plate is 2 or 3 times taller than that, and you're going about 70 miles per hour.
Well,
Have you seen how we hammer the curbs during a race weekend?
I hit it hard enough. My wiper stalk flicked up.
Oh wow!
I turned my wipers on. I hit that thing that hard.
Well, I got hit so hard at VIR that it knocked the number panel out of the window and broke my seat brackets. So that was a new one.
That sounded like fun.
Yeah, it was definitely not. I had a huge headache and massive back pain after that one. But
well, yeah.
Are
those seats like fixed to the frame basically?
Yeah, so I was pretty impressed that it like broke the something.
Yeah.
I don't know what broke, but the seat was loose after it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to walk out to my car here after this live stream and see if I might have damaged a strut mount or something. But actually, that's the weird thing with the F cars is I can't look at the top of the strut mount to see if I did anything. Yeah. The R56s and the R53s, you could look at the top of the strut bushing and you could go, "Yep, tore it."
Yeah.
You can't do that with the F cars anymore.
Yeah. As long as you don't see a huge bend in your wheel, I think you'll be pretty much okay.
If I bent those RSE 12s, I have a set of RSE 11Rs sitting in my room, my other room.
Good.
And I could always I'm planning to put the stock wheels back on for minis in the mountains just because they're run flats. And driving to Colorado with all season non-run flats and no spare just doesn't make sense.
Yes. And on the side of caution.
Yeah, I'm even going through the trouble of possibly buying a spare run flat tire to carry with me just in case if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And the cat wants to come into the picture.
Oh.
And if anyone has ever met my cat before, this is Oxford. And yes, it is named after the plant.
Yeah.
I did. Nice. Yeah, I am that much into Mini Coopers. I named my cat after the plant the Mini Cooper is made in.
Nice.
So he is being a little goofy right now, but he wanted attention, so I'm gonna have to hold him now. So we should probably wrap this up, but I'll have you all stay on the live stream until after I end it. But anyway, it was good chatting with you all again. The next race is Watkins Glen, so I'm sure we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about after that race as well. Hopefully, a couple more podium finishes for all of you. Hopefully, no getting clipped on the track by a Hyundai Elantra and then getting struck by a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen and everything's good. Everything's good to go. If it does happen, just drive back down, chase them down, do it the same thing to them.
Oh, payback is you know what. So don't worry about that. Yeah. I've done it before and got put on probation. So
yeah, I know. But they do it in NASCAR.
Yeah, I know. It's just we got penalties for it. So I've done it. I've been put on probation and I've survived and still have my race license.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do that then. But my plan for the end of this year is I'm planning to go out to Indianapolis to meet you all in person and actually do some videos with you all, check out the facility and get more in depth. This is the stuff that I was going to do when you guys were going to go to Ozarks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that completely fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that was for the better or the worse track.
What was that?
I don't know if that was for the better or the worse track wise because the Ozarks wasn't even finished.
Yeah, I didn't even know Ozarks wasn't finished, but at the same time, NOLA didn't have any like nearby
you
guys for technicians and everything. So I'm sure that made that bit of a challenge. But Watkins Glen where is that located?
In the middle of
New York.
In the middle of New York.
So
Finger Lakes area.
So you're probably going to get technicians from dealerships up in that area more than likely. So probably from like New York, probably Massachusetts,
Rochester. Rochester's right near there.
Rochester, then
yeah.
So you'll probably get a bunch from there. So I'm sure you'll get some northeastern technicians too. So that'll be probably a fun event. I'm sure that track's probably a fun track to drive on.
Oh yes, yes it is.
So. Well, I'm looking forward to watching that race. So VIR was pretty eventful. But based on the video footage I saw and some of the in-car stuff, I would love to see an in-car video of that incident you had, PJ. Because
yes, it's going to be up on YouTube and Vimeo this week. I actually just have to finish exporting it and then get it uploaded. Okay. So
what I did for anyone who wants, go ahead. Sorry.
PJ, you use Vimeo?
Yeah, Vimeo.
I guess it must be a Canadian thing.
Vimeo is a huge video thing.
Oh, it's pretty popular.
It used to be.
I've tried it.
It used to be huge in the US too, and it's not anymore.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, I did include the link for your YouTube for both your YouTube channels. Clay, you need to work on getting yourself a YouTube channel or something. But I put the link for your site in there. So people can go check out your guys' channels and watch your in-car videos. When I do eventually come out and meet you guys in person, we'll mount some of my cameras in the cars and do an in-car video as well. And we might even go as far as mount my 360 camera in the car.
Yes, that would be super cool.
do a 360 video on in the car, because then if anything interesting happens, we can like pan the whole camera around and capture what's going on inside the car.
Yes,
Yeah.
good and bad, but hopefully more good than bad.
Hopefully be all good. Otherwise, I can imagine what that video would look like for cars spinning around. The camera stays perfectly still as the car goes around it.
Yeah, that would be interesting, but no more of that. We're done with all the bad luck this year.
Now,
Yep.
anyway, wish you all the best at Watkins Glen. I will be posting eventually. Eventually, Mini USA is going to have a recap video coming, or going to have their recap of the race on their press club, and I'll be posting a video on that as well at some point. If you all have any video clips that you want to share with me that you want to include in the video that I'm going to release for that recap, let me know, and I'll add those to the video as well. I'm sure Lewis will have a few to give me, but anyway, I want to thank all of our fans for watching the channel, all the JCW Racing Team fans, as well as the Miniac fans who came to watch. And for any of you who come back and watch this a little bit later after we've done the live stream, so lots of funny stuff to watch, especially the accidental ad popping up while I was trying to start the video. I can't even remember who it was from, but that was the weirdest thing to ever happen to a live stream. But anyway, thanks for watching. And what am I gonna do? Oh, sponsors. I have to mention my sponsors. So let's see here. Where are my sponsors? There are my sponsors. So we got outmotoring.com. We got motoringstripes.com. I have a new merch store, so if you want to buy Miniac t-shirts, I got those. I have very limited number of these hats. So if you want to buy one of these, contact me on Instagram and I'll let you know how you can do it. It's a snapback hat and it has a green under the bill here, so it kind of matches the colors of my car. And as always, thanks for watching. And what else am I going to do here? Oh yeah, life is too short to drive a boring car. So guys, what do we do?
Drive a Mini.
Drive a Mini.
Drive a Mini. All right. See you all later, and thanks for watching.